This is a Heart and Hand production.
Hello everyone, my name's David Edgar. I'm the host of Heart and Hand, the Rangers podcast. I'm joining you tonight live from Ibrox after Rangers lost by 3-1 here against Club Brugge in the playoff round for the Champions League at first leg. A calamitous opening 20 minutes saw the game and, let's be realistic here, the tie taken away from Rangers. Club Brugge are a very good side. They do not need a hand, and Rangers provided 3 of them in that opening spell when we were so open. The defending was absolutely atrocious, and Rangers paid for that. The start, Ibrox was buzzing. It looked fair set to be a big evening in Europe, and then after just a couple of minutes, another comedy goal. I thought the one at the weekend would be hard to beat. Well, they gave it a good go tonight. A long ball played over the top presents no danger, but Nasser Giga sees Jack Butland coming. Jack Butland stops. He sees Nasser Giga going for it. They both stop and nobody deals with it. And into that space ran the striker for Brugge Vermaat, and he clips the ball over Jack Butland into the empty net. And it stunned Ibrox because you cannot lose a goal like that as a professional, never mind at this level in the Champions League. And then a few minutes later, before we'd really had a chance to recover for that, it was 2 Rangers stock still at set piece. Everyone gathered on the 6-yard box, nobody at the edge of the box challenging. The ball was clipped back to the centre back and he just glanced it into the bottom corner on the volley. 2 deeply shoddy goals, and it was made worse in the 19th minute, and you didn't think it could get much worse, but it did, with another very bad goal. Rangers don't deal with a loose ball on the edge of the area. Danilo stands off, and again, this has been something that we've seen too often from Rangers players this season. Allows the opposition, they're just hungry, they want it more, and it's a good finish for the boy for the edge of the box, but it's 3-0 and Ibrox was raging at this point. It could have got worse because Rangers have been cut open at will. Rangers in that first half did not look like a coached team. You have to say that. Whatever Russell Martin is telling them, it didn't look as though it was translating in that first half. And you were just stunned, really, at how bad it was. Rangers recovered a bit in the second half, showed a bit of spirit and fight, but I'm not going to praise them too much for that because these are basics. These are things that you would expect. The one exception to that would be Gassama, who is a very talented footballer, and he showed it again tonight, and he never stops. And he teed up the goal actually after a nice bit of play, or was involved in the goal when he played a 1-2 with new boy Jayden Magoma. His cross, which was excellent, was turned in by Danilo, and we thought we'd got another one back, which might have made the last 20 minutes interesting, but Gassama, who'd done so well, he just would not give it up, kept going no matter how many players were in front of him, and it looked as though he'd squeezed it in at the near post, but it was ruled that Simon Mignolet, the Bruges goalkeeper, had his hand on the ball at the time, which is automatically a foul. Again, it's one of those rules you can complain about. He's got his hand on the ball, he doesn't have it under control, but that is the rule, and it wasn't given. I think it's fair to say that Russell Martin wasn't a popular appointment. I think that's fair to say, and so far we haven't seen a single thing to indicate that he's a man for us. That's the reality of the situation. Now, the board are not going to act hastily. We know that. They're new owners, they believe in this plan, but that first half was just so bad, and they do not look like they know what they're supposed to do. One of the problems might be that you've got a back four where the manager has said he thinks he's got leaders in Butland and Suter. They're not leaders, and the other 3 are youngsters on loan. And it looked like that. They all look terrified. They all look scared of their shadow. I think they look like a side at the moment all over the park who are so busy trying to remember what they're supposed to be doing that they're not playing naturally. They're second-guessing themselves on absolutely everything. And that first goal's a case of, will I get it? Will you get it? Is that you that gets it? And it's just constant. We have some tough games coming up now. We've got St Mirren. Before we come back here to Ibrox, we've got St Mirren away in Paisley. Never easy. They're a good side and it'll be tough. Then we've got to go to Bruges next week, and then we've got Celtic here in 2 weeks. Unless there's a dramatic improvement from Rangers, then it's very difficult to see how this is likely to change. At the moment, whatever Russell Martin is selling, the Rangers support ain't buying. And to be honest, it looks as though some in the team aren't either. There were some really poor performances tonight throughout the Rangers team. Giga was awful. Mohamed Diamande continued his awful start to the season. At the moment, he seems incapable of passing to a man in the same coloured jersey. Danilo got a goal, and fair play to him for keeping going, but he's not a number 9, a lone striker. Rangers need to do more business in the transfer market, there's no doubt about that, but we also need, as well as skills, we need things like character and leadership, and we don't have those at the moment. And as for Russell Martin, he's got to start picking up results now. It's that simple, because if this keeps up, then it only ends one way, no matter how much the owners want to give it time. Ibrox was pretty bad tonight, and it was pretty angry tonight, and when that happens, then it usually only ends one way. Right, thanks for listening to me, folks. I'll be back on Sunday. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.